Why should we care about insects? After all, they are just bugs. They sting us and bite us and carry diseases. What good do insects do? Insect populations are plummeting. What does this have to do with your garden? Hmm, let's find out. Hi, I'm Amy, the founder of Fox Run Environmental Education. Welcome to my channel. The loss of insects has dramatic effects on the ecosystem and your garden. Insects are valuable contributors to the ecology of your garden. Not only do they provide necessary pollination, but they are important members of the garden food web. Like plankton in the ocean, they are the foundation of many food chains and provide food for larger insects, birds, and amphibians. Insects contribute to the U.S. economy. Two entomologists, Mace Vaughn and John Lucy, did a study stating insects contribute $57 billion to the economy in terms of helping other valuable species. This would include sectors such as agriculture, decomposition, and recreation. As gardeners, we usually spend a lot of time and effort thinking about how to control or kill insect populations. After all, insects eat our crops, spread diseases, and in general are viewed as adversaries. Why should we care if insect populations are dropping? Isn't that a good thing? Insects help our gardens be productive in many ways. Most gardeners have a compost pile. Compost adds lots of rich nutrients to the soil and improves our crops. Many insects live in your compost pile and contribute to the decomposition process. Insects naturally help reduce and recycle dead plants and animals by eating them. Sow bugs, centipedes, beetles, and ants are all important players in your compost pile. Fewer beneficial insects means greater numbers of insects we don't want. Lady beetles eat aphids. Parasitic wasps eat whiteflies. There is not one smoking gun. Many things contribute to insect decline: loss of habitat by development and agricultural production. Insecticides are used in commercial agriculture to control crop pests, as well as cities to control populations such as mosquitoes. Another factor is invasive species, such as the emerald ash borer. Invasive species take over an ecological niche and become dominant. Insects are pollinators. No insects equals no food. Insects are important for pollination in many crops. Without them, the crops will not develop and produce fruits, the part we eat. Flies, bees, and butterflies are all important pollinators. Birds and bats are also great pollinators, and they eat many undesirable insects like mosquitoes. Many of our favorite foods require insect pollination: blueberries, squashes, apples, melons, coffee, and chocolate. Indirectly, we can say dairy products, since cows and goats eat alfalfa and timothy grasses that need pollination. According to the USDA, insects pollinate about 35% of all food crops. Without them, these plants would not produce. Some insects feed on other insects that eat our crops. These beneficial insects, like praying mantis, benefit our gardens by reducing pests without chemicals. By not using chemicals, we encourage beneficial insects to thrive. The fabulous bee. A healthy population of bees can improve production. Cornell University did a study that showed strawberry fruit size increased 40% when actively pollinated. Many gardeners and homesteaders keep bees to meet their pollination needs and because they produce honey. The mason bee, a native species, is also a very good pollinator. Mason bees are solitary insects. One third of moth and butterfly species are in danger of going extinct, as in gone forever. Butterflies and moths have a fundamental value. They add intrinsic beauty to our world. They are important indicators of the health of our environment and are an indicator species because they are very sensitive to chemicals and habitat destruction. In addition, they pollinate plants and provide bad insect control. You want them in your garden. Most of the time. I will admit there may be a few species you may want to discourage, such as the cabbage moth. The good news is these moths and many others are food for other species. Bats, frogs, and birds all eat lots of butterflies and moths, so they are important in many ways. I have a video on raising honeybees that I will link in the description. But let's talk about native bees. Native bees pollinate trees and wildflowers, which in turn provide food for wildlife. Native bees gather pollen and nectar and take it home to feed their brood. They typically only travel about a half mile from their nest to gather food. The fat and friendly bumblebee enjoys tomatoes, eggplants, peppers, and will help you reap a delicious harvest. Bumblebees live in colonies, often in underground holes dug by rodents. You can purchase bee homes to attract species such as mason bees. They are solitary and live in cavities. I'll put a link in the description. Mason bees are especially good pollinators of fruit trees such as apples, cherries, and plums. Those pesky carpenter bees are not just eating your woodwork. They are actually excellent pollinators of beans and berries. Carpenter bees, like the mason bee, live in cavities. I had them in my cabin and they would fly right in my face and scare the daylights out of me. But they never stung anyone. Plant an insect habitat garden. Sometimes we get so focused on growing vegetables and fruits to meet our food needs, we forget to appreciate what is just pretty. Growing flowers is a great way to support insects. Flowers that make great pollinators include yarrow, sweet alyssum, and zinnias. Don't mow everything down. I had neighbors way out in the middle of nowhere that were obsessed with mowing. The property was a recreational piece, and they were from the city, but they kept the front field mowed to about 3 inches. I, on the other hand, have always gone to the other extreme. I don't mow, or I mow in selective swaths. Many field flowers and weeds are great for attracting pollinators. I had 7 species of butterflies that inhabited my field. Not only do they come and provide garden work, but they are beautiful and entertaining to watch. There are so many plants that you can grow to encourage healthy populations of bees. Buckwheat is a great crop because it attracts pollinating insects, and when it's done blooming, you can dig it under for green manure. If you are an urban gardener, creeping thyme is a great ground cover. It provides shelter for many types of beetles, and the flowers attract pollinators. There are lots of varieties of Rudbeckia, like these black eyed Susans. They attract many beneficial insects and just look so happy and pretty. So you should totally indulge yourself with a flower/insect garden to make yourself and the insects happy. Please give this video a thumbs up to help others find it. Thanks for watching and have a sunny day.